Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Full Pedal Jacket Intimidator Cup Series. Had a little bit of a late start, some issues that we were getting resolved, so hopefully we'll be able to put on a real good show for you here tonight. Sponsored by JCB Excavation, Rep Sports, and Supreme Ape. As always, we're getting ready to come on down and go green here, so we'll clear up things, and I'll let Clint McGill join me in the booth take over.
All right, thanks, Peyton. Again, like you said, we're here at Michigan, 120 laps. Back again after a road course last week. We'll see what these guys have to do. Hopefully they can put on a good show for us. It's 120 laps. It is stage racing. Stages are 30, 30, and 60. So pit strategy definitely going to come in as they will not be able to go a full stage without having to take fuel. So definitely interesting to see what kind of stuff happens, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's a big track here at Michigan. So one thing I do want to say, starting on the pole tonight, if you didn't catch our qualifying, is going to be Marcus Miller, and outside of him is going to be his teammate Lucas Sylvester. So Marcus had a really great run, so did Lucas, showing us that they have a lot of speed here out of nowhere pretty much. Was not expecting it. Yeah, definitely. His pole position lap time was phenomenal. I think he was the only one that got down into 38.1, so definitely look forward to see what he can do here tonight, see if that speed from qualifying carries over into the race.
You guys running pretty clean so far, a little bit better kind of first couple of laps than what we saw from the last time we were at the mile and a half. These guys, I'm sure, are glad to be back on an oval surface as opposed to running the road course at Watkins Glen.
Definitely, yeah. A lot of guys struggled to feel like last week at the road course, so I'm sure a lot of them are pretty happy to be able to be back on some banked ovals. A little bit of spinning going on right there. Saves it, though. That was...
I believe it was Marcus Miller maybe getting a little bit loose there.
Able to save it, though. Still running pretty clean. This is probably one of the cleanest starts we've had in the last few weeks. So, ooh. Zach Camella bouncing it off the outside wall. They're coming out of turn 2. Able to hold on to it also. Trying to get back in the draft here.
And don't look now, here comes Gavin Rodgers. He won the Chicagoland race and put up a pretty good fight against Mason Hausman whenever it came to the Watkins Glen race, coming out in front.
Definitely, he's a really good driver, pretty fast. It is still early though, we'll see what happens, but definitely making a run for the front here.
Currently up 6 spots for him. Matthew Fleming cracking up into the top 5 as well as Don Milkowicz. So 8 spots up for Don and 6 spots up for Fleming. A lot of guys trying to get out here and get some clean air early on before the grip starts to wear away on this track and they start losing their tires.
Yeah, definitely. You see him going 2 and 3 wide right now. New tires, that's pretty easy to do as the laps go on and those tires get wore down. You're going to see less and less of people running down there at the bottom of that track. Just don't quite get the grip that you do at the beginning with some fresh tires. Number 777 making his way up to the front now. Alex Coffey taking the lead. Let's see if he can hold it here past the start-finish line. Stand up there on that high line, losing a little bit of speed.
Interesting.
What happened?
Oh, there we go. We are back. I apparently lost connection to everything there and kind of had a little bit of a mishap. All the guys on the track just disappeared. The Houdini invaded the server there.
Definitely one of the things that you have to worry about in iRacing that you don't have to worry about in actual racing is netcode and connection issues.
Yeah, so a lot of guys really opting to
stay in their spots here as we get on into it. Definitely don't think these guys, after doing a little bit of practice, are going to be able to make it the full 30 laps of the first stage. Could be a little bit of a super speedway strategy coming into play here. Sit behind someone who's a little bit faster than you or who's pushing it harder and try to save fuel and just beat them on a fuel instead of beating them on the track.
Definitely one of the strategies. It can be done. I know it's pretty close as far as fuel consumption for making it to that 30. So if somebody can save enough fuel, it could definitely save them a lot of time without having to take a pit stop. Number 85 of Lucas Sylvester out running front right now. Number 777, Alex Coffey's still right on his tail though. 78 making a move to the inside here.
Here comes Adrian Piedra, opting to run the bottom instead of that high side that we normally see him run on these ovals.
It's one of those tracks, with the way it runs, there's really several different lines you can run in. It's just kind of wherever you feel more comfortable and wherever you can get the most speed.
A couple guys 3 wide back there in the back. I believe that is Tyler Bentley. Swap back here to him. Yeah, I believe it was him, Chris Spitz, and I believe maybe Marcus Miller there momentarily. Or 3 wide. So definitely a track where you can run it, but it is not what you want to do because you will burn up your tires pretty quickly.
Oh, definitely. Got a little 3 wide action here in the front. Adrian Piedra now moving out front here. Finally getting a little bit of a run. Not quite going to hold on to it. Alex Coffey and Gavin Rodgers making a run towards the front here.
Yeah, a lot of 7s up there in those in that top 3.
Absolutely. Lucky number 7 up there. Matt Fleming back in 4th right now, still trying to make his way up to the front. Still impatient though. That's going to be one of the keys here, I believe, also, is just being patient, waiting for your time to get that run and get that opening.
Yeah, it's something we'll see probably all the way through the race up until the end. Oh, it looks like someone there got a little bit loose. I believe that was TJ Roberts. And there is the first yellow of the race, 12 laps in. Pretty good stint there. We'll hop back in here and take a look and see exactly what went wrong there. Oh yeah, I believe it was TJ Roberts and Logan Ekra got into it a little bit, and Logan went around for a little bit of a spin trying to save it. Don't believe he made contact with anybody else, however. That car looks pretty clean, so all in all, it's unfortunate for your tire situation there, but it's pretty good for these guys who are running up front if they want to go ahead and take fuel and try to make it to the end of this stage on just this one stop.
Definitely think you're going to see at least some of the drivers come in now. It's about halfway to the end of the stage, and so now would be a great time to come in and do that, save your time.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we see a lot of the guys do in the league. You all like to cut this thing in half, pretty much dead center, and get out there, especially if there's a caution like this.
Oh yeah, it's just a really good time. That way, you know, you have fresh tires for as long as possible. Just keeping that speed up. And a caution at the middle of the stage doesn't hurt at all either.
Definitely be interesting to see here if anybody decides to stay out that's up there in front. I know these guys, a lot of them are running 3 wide for a little bit, and quite a few movers up there in the top 5, so I definitely are lower on tires. And here they all come down pit lane. Looked like somebody thought that the leaders were going to stay out. I believe Gavin Rodgers was thinking about it, but ultimately decides to head on in.
Looks like just about everybody's going to come in except for Paul Ferdinandi. He is 2 laps down currently, or 1 lap down, sorry.
Yeah, I want to stay out, get that free wave around and come around. Did notice a couple of guys had a little bit of trouble getting out to the start. So some guys opting to maybe lay back and take it easy early on. Don't really matter if you get a lap down or two. You can rely on the stage cautions in order to get you out there. And it looks like Jacob Hoppy is the first one off pit road. All these guys going out there and giving it their all, trying to keep under the pace speeds in order to not get a black flag here, which is very easy to do. If we get a green flag pit stop, it's going to be very difficult for these guys to make sure they don't get a speeding penalty. That cone comes up really quick here at Michigan.
Absolutely.
Very interesting here. I believe we may have seen Jacob Hoppy come out because he actually missed his pit stall as he's coming back in now. So that is definitely what happened. He must have gotten caught up or not been paying attention and accidentally rolled on by it. So Adrian Piedra back out P1, followed by Alex Coffey and Matthew Fleming getting a really good pit stop coming out in third.
Side note, I cannot get my yellows or black flags to work.
And that is unfortunate.
I believe so.
We'll go ahead and work on getting that fixed here. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, this is only my second time up in the booth. If you guys watched the All-Star race, I was up here commentating for that one, so still trying to work out all the kinks here, get everything running smooth for you guys.
It happens. Always something coming up with the broadcast here. Either iRacing doesn't like us, the software, SDK software doesn't like us, somebody's internet doesn't like us, so we kind of just work with what we got and move on about our day, one step at a time.
Looks like the pace car is off. We're going to get ready to go back to green racing here. With Adrian Piedra in first place. Alex Coffey on the outside of him. Let's see how these lines play out here on the restart. And there they go. Again, with the end of the regular season coming up, a lot of these guys are going to be looking for a win. We've talked about it before the last couple of weeks. With this, we have 7 different winners right now. Win guarantees you a spot in the playoffs. So with that many different winners, and we still have 5 races left in the regular season, you know, you're going to want to try and get that win to guarantee a spot in the playoffs because points just may not do it.
Yeah, Mason Hausman was our only repeat winner. Absolutely dominating performance he put on last week at Watkins Glen. Didn't do too well in qualifying here. Started near the back of the top 10, which is kind of unusual for how much speed that he normally carries in these races. But he's definitely sitting in a position to where he doesn't have to worry about it too much. Back-to-back win, points leader, and then the overall playoff points leader as well.
Yeah, I was really kind of shocked to see him qualify as far back as he did. Like you said, he normally has a lot of speed, especially on these oval tracks, and see if he can come back race time here, make his way back up to the front. Definitely a talented driver.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he takes it a little bit more cautiously through this race and just try to finish with a decent points day and maintain his lead. Sitting pretty solidly. I believe it is at a plus 47 points advantage for him in the point standings. So
definitely a good lead there. Not too much to worry about from him. And like you said, he's got 2 wins so he's guaranteed a spot in the playoffs.
A lot of guys running down at that bottom line. If that trend continues, you're going to see some grip go away on it. We noticed it in qualifying after guys had run the bottom on their qualifying laps and the rubber got put down. You couldn't quite get all the way down to the line and you ended up losing a little bit of speed. So that's going to equalize really quickly as hard as these guys are pushing it down there.
Yeah, definitely.
Coffee with a little bit of a switchback to the bottom comes Piedra. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to get there, and he does at the line.
Good hard racing up here in the front. A lot of lead changes.
And into the bottom there is Michigan native DJ Thomas trying to secure himself a stage win. Oh, and another caution comes out. Oh, that looks like it collected quite a few guys in the back there.
Trying to get back here to
see Jacob Hoppy, Paul Ferdiani in it. We'll go back and take a look and see exactly what happened with it. Oh, it looks like a first lap bandit Derek Preston gets into somebody there a little bit and causes a little bit of a checkup throughout the field. Not a lot of damage on these guys though. They're taking it pretty well, keeping it in stride and making sure their cars don't get beat up too much. A lot of space on this track too, so you can kind of guarantee not ping-ponging off the walls.
Yeah, definitely, and it's one of the things, we have fast repairs here, but you don't want to use it. You want to try and save those till towards the end. That way you have a fresh car to go out there and run the last stage on. So the least amount of damage you can get on your vehicle, the better, because then you can just repair it there in the pits.
Be interesting to see if anyone opts to go ahead and head in to take a pit stop here. Maybe if you're outside of that top 5 area, you can set yourself up for a better run on the next stage by maybe short pitting a little bit and getting some time up that way.
And as you say, it looks like Adrian and Pedro, looks like the top 5 are all coming in.
Yeah, Alex Coffey looked like he was maybe thinking about doing otherwise. Almost ran over the grass there, but heads on in behind Piedra.
And we got a line of them coming in behind. Cody Harrelson, Brennan Bogo,
DJ Thomas, Piedra, Brady Shue, I see. Alex Coffey, we already mentioned there. I believe Marcus Miller's also entered the pits. John Hammond, John Curtis, quite a lot of guys. Not very many decided to stay out. I believe we're looking at about the top 12 spots right now are guys who stayed out.
We'll see how that plays out here when we come. We're going to have, I believe, 7 to go till the end of the stage after the green flag drops.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how those new tires do up against these guys. They did do quite a few laps. You can normally hold it flat out at Michigan if you're running around the middle to the high side for about 10 laps, but if any of these guys have been running the bottom, they're looking at their tires already being hurt a little bit. You get about 4 or 5 full-on fast laps doing that.
Absolutely.
So we'll re-wreck the field here and see how this green flag goes. Coming around here. A lot of change-ups and some mixing around up here in the front. Lucas Sylvester firmly sitting in that second spot. It's where he started. He's fought to stay there, so that's good for him. Gavin Rodgers making his way up through the field a little bit, and then Chris Stitz making his way all the way up to 4th. He's up 13, 12 spots, I believe. He's had a very good run tonight, and he's a guy who was fighting around for that 3rd position until the very end of the Watkins Glen race. So he's looking to make a name for himself here, maybe get a stage win, and maybe go for the big show.
think we're going to have green flag this time around here.
A lot of Bentley Motorsports guys up here. Just noticing that. You got, I believe, Tyler and Nathan Bentley, also joined by Ron Holmes up here at the front, all looking at inside the top 10. So if they can manage to work together, you can kind of run this track like a super speedway if you're running the right line and pushing hard enough down the straightaways. So we may see a little bit of a team action going here to try to get some of these guys up to the front.
Definitely. Bentley Motorsports has always been a good team so far this season. They usually work together pretty well, and always see them running up to the top. So
pace car is off. They're all stacked up and good to go, lined up, get ready for the green. Oh,
and here
we're back. It's all good.
Here we go. Back to green flag.
Looks like I'm having a little bit of an issue here tonight, so hopefully this will clear up as we go on.
Guys running 3 wide back in the middle. A little bit of tapping back there. Looks like they save it. Oh, and not going to hold on to it.
Ooh, see some guys spinning there. Unfortunately, we didn't quite catch exactly what happened there, so we'll head on back and take a little bit of a look at it, see if we can catch what happened.
It looked like, not sure who it was, slid up and tapped one of the guys on the outside there. Looked like he saved it, and then behind them, got sideways. Looks
like it's going to mainly involve, at least from what we can see, where we had a little bit of a blink out there, the 14 of Colin Bauer possibly, and I believe that is Brennan Bogo, the 007 car. Oh yeah, Brennan has definitely got some nose damage on that 007 car in more ways than one. He's rocking the James Bond, maybe in honor of the Aussie that we have in the league, Mr. Brad Allison. Who, speaking of which, even though he has just recently joined us, looking at fighting his way up for his first stage win as well in that 3rd or 4th position. I'm not exactly sure where they have him scored out. I believe it is P4. We'll see as they cross the line here, but it's definitely having a good run today.
Yeah, it's always good to see him running up front. One of our international racers, and he's moved up from 18th position, so 14 spots for him.
Yeah, a little bit of pit strategy and a little bit of good, clean racing. Maybe not pushing it too hard will definitely get you in a position to be up near the front whenever it comes to Michigan. And right now, unfortunately for the guys that pit on that last caution, Piedra and that group, their tire advantage is pretty much going to end up being negated here by running these laps under caution. You would not expect for it to really eat up the tire as much as what it was, but if I had my Larry Mac cheese grater and a tire, I could show you just what this track surface would do.
Absolutely.
Talk about the trends. Trending is Zach Camella guaranteeing he's going to win this race, running up in P2. He's really wanting to get out there and get his first stage win in a while after not being with us. And Gavin Rodgers maybe looking to spoil the show for him doing that.
Yeah, Gavin Rodgers has been running pretty good all night. Seems like he's been pretty quick, so we'll see if he can hold on to this first place as we get ready to go back green here in one more lap. And then we'll have 2 laps to into the stage.
Yep, and for everybody out there, we want to bring to attention our new sponsor, Rep Sports and Raise Energy. If you weren't here to join us for the qualifying that we had last night,
they hopped on board for Full Pedal Jacket right after we got that Zach Camella Raise Energy card done for his personal self. We decided to reach out to them. They've given us the opportunity to have everyone get 15% off of their purchase from their website if you use code FPJ15. So if you're interested in healthy sugar-free energy drinks, and honestly, I personally had a bunch of them last night while we were doing that qualifying. It was a long night for me. They are very, very delicious. I would recommend them just as out of my own personal taste. So make sure you go and check them out if you're interested in that. They have a lot of other stuff, pre-workout formulas and everything like that. So 15% off of your total order if you use the code FPJ15 on their website.
Absolutely. Definitely great to see new sponsors coming on board, and we really appreciate the support that they give the league. It definitely makes what we do possible.
Yeah, let's just put these things on for everybody. Helps fund everything and helps give out maybe some winnings at the end of this thing. Whenever it's all said and done, we got ourselves a championship winner.
I'm sure the drivers will appreciate that, at least whoever wins. Get ready to go back green here.
Green, green, green.
Oh.
Looks like a little bit of a jump there.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not sure if that was because of a push or exactly what happened there. Maybe a little bit of overestimation. We'll see if Zach kind of lifts off and lets Gavin by. It does seem like that's what he's doing here.
Absolutely.
Getting that spot back
Yellow,
up.
yellow, yellow.
Oh, and another yellow comes out, and that right there is going to seal the deal for our first stage.
Gavin Rodgers is going to be first stage winner here.
The Spectre Stage Award by JCB.
It's 30 laps down out of the 120 that we have to go tonight. And we've already seen some pretty good racing so far, so I'm pretty excited for the rest of this race here, see how it plays out.
So looking here, we're going to have, as your first stage results, Gavin Rodgers with the JCB Excavation Spectre Stage Award, $5 richer for him, followed by Zach Camella, Lucas Sylvester, Brad Allison, Chris Stitz, Tyler Bentley, TJ Roberts, Adrian Piedra making his way back up after taking that pit stop. Nathan Bentley, it's good to see him up there running pretty well tonight in the top 10 for the stage. And DJ Thomas.
Definitely, it was a little bit of a dogfight there for a little bit, and then it became a strategy there towards the end of the stage. So
while we're waiting for these guys to go ahead and re-rack, we'll go back here and take a look and see exactly what caused that crash. The only name I'm seeing on here is Brady Shue, so might have gotten in a little bit of an unfortunate accident after getting that lucky dog on the last one.
yeah, it's unfortunate to see. Brady's always one of the top guys up there.
Well,
Can't cut him out yet.
It looks like we might see a case of the first lap bandit. Derek Preston was pushing Brady pretty hard there, and maybe Logan Eaker wasn't ready for the run coming up on him. Gets back into the quarter panel. Brennan Bogo, unfortunately, involved in that crash again after taking damage earlier on, so he's going to have his fast repair already taken out. And I believe I saw some other guys up here near the front sliding quite a bit. Did notice that Marcus Miller was down on the apron, so I believe he might have had a little bit of an issue after qualifying P1. He's kind of struggled to keep up race pace. Might be a case of a little bit too aggressive on his movements so far.
Yeah, and that was one of the things we had talked about earlier is, just because you're fast in qualifying, race day is a whole different animal when you're out there running in a pack of cars. And again, with the qualifying, most of those guys running down there towards the bottom, and like we said, that'll chew your tires up pretty quick. So you can't really run that bottom fast line all the time.
Yeah, to be fair though, in Marcus's defense, he was just as surprised as everyone else that he did qualify in the pole position. So he's enjoyed it. Enjoyed getting up there and showing the guys that maybe he's a little bit faster than what everyone thought he was originally after having kind of a rough start here at Full Pedal Jacket. But showing here kind of back to his old ways, I would say. He's definitely improved since he's joined the league, and it's good to see that he's being successful here, even if it is just a really good qualifying run for him. He's putting in the work, and maybe he can fight back up there. We know he's got speed on this track, so I'm picking him as my early pick to maybe get up there and be fighting for it right at the end of the race.
I definitely see that happening, and again, just to kind of elaborate on what you were saying, it's just kind of a testament. I know you guys watching the broadcast only see qualifying and race, but these guys do put in a lot of work throughout the week out there practicing and just turning laps just to get better, do testing, see what the car can do. These guys put in a lot of work, and it definitely shows on race day.
Yeah, and especially here at this track, we had a little bit of an issue whenever it came to our Chicagoland, a very similar track to this, a little bit of a caution fest at the beginning, but you can see these guys have really put in the work after that Watkins Glen race. It might have shown some guys that they weren't as prepared or weren't getting as prepared as what they needed to be for the races each week. I know we talked to a lot of you guys after that race, and you said you were all exhausted.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those racetracks where not a lot of us had experience, I feel like, prior to this season. And we definitely put in a lot of laps trying to make that happen. Back to green flag racing here.
That is a scary pack of cars to be up there. That's a lot of guys that show week in and week out that they are very fast. And right behind them, for the first time, we got Ray Zerkett joining us for his first race of the season. And he is a guy that we know from experience, ran many races with Ray Zerkett before. He's definitely got some long run speed. He knows how to do strategy, and he's a veteran to the iRacing service. So he's a guy that I am not surprised. Ooh, Chris Stitt's getting a little bit loose there.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
But that is going to cause the yellow. Switch back here to Chris and see exactly what went wrong. I'm not sure if it was maybe a little bit of net code or a little bit of him driving it in there too hard on these colder track worn out tires. Yeah, and just as we were talking about him, it seems that the curse that I have given drivers is back again. Ray Zerkett involved in that. I believe you see Cody Harrelson involved in that. Colin Bauer joining us again. He gets involved in it. Clayton Fry is involved in it. I believe that's the 97 of Jason Waller also involved in it. So quite a few guys in there. Oh no, Lucas Sylvester catches them, and then also Jason Kelly catches somebody there. So might be the biggest caution that we've had so far tonight.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good cars involved in that accident, so.
I see a lot of guys coming down pit lane either to fix their damage or to get new tires. I know a lot of guys are wanting to keep up that tire grip on this track. Be fast if they maybe expect another caution or something similar to that sort to go on. Might be a good strategy for them here.
Yeah, definitely. If get in there early on this caution and get new fresh tires, and then 4 or 5 laps later you have another caution, and that puts you in a position to be able to stay out and be up in the front then after the rotation of pit stops there.
A very good night for Paul Ferdiani and Shane Cochran. Ferdiani has cracked the top 5 here, up 20 spots from where he started in 24th, and then Cochran has followed him through the field, I guess letting Paul punch a little bit of a hole for him. He's up 21 spots.
Definitely wild to see the changes from where these guys started to where they're at now after the first stage. Just goes to show how much pit strategy and racing and being patient, staying out of accidents really pays off.
Yeah, call it the luck of the draw whenever you're getting back there in the back of the pack, kind of have to dodge cars who are spinning around the track. Michigan does have a wide track surface, but with the new smoke that they've implemented here, it's a gamble whenever you come up on something like that if you're going to get through or not. So a little bit of luck and a little bit of patience will go a long way in a track like this.
I can definitely attest to that with the new smoke model. If you get a good spin in front of you, you're not seeing through that, and you're just hoping and praying there's nobody on the other side of that smoke when you come through it.
Yeah, and the kind of gray of the track doesn't help here. You can really get through, and if you have somebody sitting in front of you who's in a darker car, you notice it's a pretty dark and cloudy overcast day out here in Michigan, so those cars can kind of pop out of nowhere. We do have a lot of guys driving those dark colored black cars, gray cars, silver cars. It's really scary whenever you see one of those coming out of the smoke like a ghost.
Yes. Probably one of the worst feelings ever is when you come through a cloud of smoke and there's a car right there in front of you.
And one thing these guys can be glad of probably is that Michael Winfier isn't out there. I know that car tends to digitize its way up into the wall and be unseen. We've noticed that at a couple races so far.
Mike off for a break for a couple weeks. He should be back with us for Kentucky in 2 weeks. We do have an off week next week, so we'll not be racing next week, but we will be back in 2 weeks for Kentucky.
Yep, we'll have our truck season coming up on Friday, and then after that, a little bit of break in the action for Full Pedal Jacket. Give these guys a chance to get settled in as we come on the final stages of the season, getting ready to come back to the championship in June.
Green's out. Green flag. Green flag.
And the green flag drops one more time here as they come across the line for lap 36. Adrian Piedra out in front. Gavin Rodgers right there with him on the outside.
Those are two guys that have shown that on these oval tracks can stay consistently fast throughout the week. Rodgers is definitely showing us the same type of speed that he did at the Chicagoland race, which netted him his first win. And after maybe getting spoiled by the absolute crazy performance we had Mason leading all 65 laps last week, he might be looking to mark himself out as the second repeat winner of the season.
Absolutely. Looks like we had a little bit of contact back there about a half a lap ago, and they sorted it out though.
Yeah, this track it is 2 miles. It's basically a baby super speedway. You end up coming up on guys a little bit quicker than what you originally expected, as you see speeds getting up to nearly 200 miles an hour if you're sitting back there in the draft on fresh tires. Kind of surprising to see not really many people cutting that apron in the front stretch there.
Yeah, I know a lot of guys did that during qualifying, and seems like they're opting not to go for that during the race. I know it's a little bit of a jar there as you come up off the apron, so maybe they're just trying to not cause any slipping there as they come back up.
Notice that Piedra kind of went down there breaking the draft on Gavin Rodgers and maybe giving his teammate Logan Eaker a little bit of a pull there, trying to get him worked up through the field. It does seem like he has passed Ian Nelson, or is close to coming up, right up across John Hammond here.
Yeah, again, that goes into that team strategy. One big thing with having teammates out there is you got somebody you can work with and communicate with and trying to help each other out get pushed up through the field.
Yeah, and I feel bad for dragging you away from your teammate after you set your qualifying lap. Matthew Fleming, he's kind of sitting down there as a lone wolf, but he's definitely a guy that has speed with you guys or not. So I'm rooting for him out here. Hopefully we'll see him get up here near the front and lead a couple of these laps.
Yeah, definitely. He's pretty fast, and me and him were talking earlier in the week, and really likes racing Michigan. He says he feels like he's usually pretty fast, so if he can stay out of some accidents and just be patient there. A little bit of spinning. Caught it, though.
Ooh. Yeah, Eker getting a little bit loose off the corner, maybe driving a little bit too hard. That is really a hornet's nest whenever you get back there in that 6th, 7th, 8th position. Anywhere up in this top 10, you got guys who are really racing kind of hard and spreading out, fanning out, using the entirety of the width of the track. Did see 4 wide there, I believe, coming down the backstretch at one point.
Yeah, these guys are really fighting for position out here. Doing it safely so far, though. Got a lot of green flag laps here. It's really, really fun racing to watch right now. Aggressive, but keeping it clean. Oh, got some spinning going on back here in the back.
Oh, yeah, here's someone hitting the wall. I see Colin Bauer in it. I see exactly what happened here. Oh, looks like driving in a little bit too hard off the corner.
Car doesn't look too bad, though, there.
Yeah, Colin getting caught up in that, and I believe that was Jason Waller as well, kind of getting involved there. Just kind of how racing goes here. Like we said, you come up on guys really quickly, and if you're trying to drive it hard out of the corner and you don't have the tire for it, you can end up sliding up the track into each other.
Yeah, definitely, and we've went about 10 laps, and you were mentioning earlier before the race started, earlier that about 10 laps is about all you can do full out without losing some grip around here, especially if you're driving that bottom line.
Yeah, so making passes is going to get significantly harder the longer of a green flag run we get into. You'll see a lot of guys opt to either run it just a hair up above on that first seam, kind of riding the line, or go all the way up to the wall. I know I've heard a couple of guys in the practice race, they said that was going to be their strategy, kind of go up towards the top where you can full throttle it for longer and run it a little bit like you do Talladega, kind of be on the throttle more and use the draft to kind of negate the advantage that you would gain from running on the bottom and using more tire.
Yeah, definitely, and like you said, with it being a 2-mile track, it does run a lot like a baby super speedway. Like we said, usually run it flat out for about 10 laps, so it's all about draft then at that point, and getting draft and pushing in the straightaways. The front and back stretch are pretty long here, so definitely have enough room there to get some bump drafts going.
And Chris Stitz comes out P1, making up a couple of positions in pit lane. Really good pit stop out of him. I'd be interested to see if maybe he either took 2 tires or a little bit less fuel. I do notice that he's on a little bit less of a stint here, only running 9 laps as opposed to Piedra's 21, who came out right behind him. And Gavin Rodgers with a surprising 29-lap run, so showing it you can almost get it done on one stop.
Yeah, definitely. Like we were talking earlier, you probably could get it done. It's going to take some fuel conservation there and just kind of staying in the draft and being patient. But again, it could end up paying off for you in the end, just having to take less pit stops.
Yeah, definitely good to go ahead and figure it out early, exactly how hard you can push the car in order to make it that full 29, 30 laps. Maybe won't net you a stage win early, but it could get you the big one right at the end.
Chris Stitz does come across, and he is in first place right now. Chris started out 16th, so 15 points places up for him.
He is doing very well. 15 for him, and then right outside the top 5, you got TJ Roberts. He is up 12 spots, so we've definitely seen a lot of juxtaposition here whenever it comes to guys swapping spots near the front. The only really consistent guys we've seen up here have been Gavin Rodgers, John Hammond, and Adrian Piedra, and then everyone else around that top 5 area has been flip-flopping.
Oh, yeah.
And again, another caution pretty much right dead center in the stage, so we know these guys will be able to make it to the end. It'll just come down to if they're going to take tires and go with it from there if we do get another one of these. Piedra has shown that it is possible to do it. You can come in for a second stop and make your way back up to the front.
And again, some of that's those fresh tires, just keeping that speed up, and then just doing strategic pit stops to get yourself back up to the front.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag back out here. Pretty good start for both lines, fairly even.
It's a drag race right now for first and second.
Yeah, you'll see that outside line start to drop back a little bit, just due to the nature of the track and the distance you got to go around here with it being 2 miles. Big, long, wide turns, similar to Eldora whenever you're looking at dirt. Chris Stitz and Gavin Rodgers opting to stay down on that bottom lane, use their tires here and try to get ahead. But Piedra, I mean, we call the high side of the Piedra line for a reason. He's showing that he's got speed even at this track all the way up there.
Yeah, absolutely. He loves that high line and he runs it well. Here's some of the guys there in race chat teaming up there to try and move their way to the front.
Yeah, definitely good practice for these guys before we head to Talladega. Once we come back from our break, we're going to get Kentucky and then Dega right after that. So maybe get a little bit of a sneak peek as to who you can trust, who can push you well, and who you can work with whenever you get to the super speedway race there.
Definitely. We were mentioning earlier, nobody was really going on the apron, and then 3 of them just went down there on the apron together running in a draft. So it's one of the things you'll see strategies kind of change up as the race goes on.
Yeah,
people trying to do different things just to stay up front there.
Definitely is interesting to see. It may be due to the fact that that bottom side is getting a little bit of extra rubber laid down and they're kind of losing their speed. You'll notice whenever these guys run right down there at the bottom of the track, like Gavin Rodgers and Chris Stitz did, they were running around 191, 192 coming out of the corner. Definitely getting down lower as we continue out on this run.
A little bit of blocking going up here in the front.
Just about what you would expect, and these two up here, Gavin Rodgers and Adrian Piedra, are swapping back and forth, really battling for that lead.
Definitely starting to look like a dogfight up here at the front as we come down to 11 more laps until the end of the stage here.
Yeah, no one really has any friends up here. It's just about who you can get on your good graces and get you to either draft to the front or who you can push to the front. Looks like Chris Stitz looking to take it 3 wide with the leaders here, though, and he has a massive run in here in turn 3.
Yeah, that was a lot of speed he carried there off the backstretch.
You can kind of see him pay for it right in the middle of the corner. You enter low, you enter fast, you draft
Green
up.
flag is out.
Wreck going on back about position 10 there.
Yeah, I see Cody Harrelson in it. Looks like Nathan Bentley is in it as well, trying to stop that car from sliding up into the wall, missing a front end here. A lot of guys chose to dive down to the grass to try to avoid it. We'll go back and see exactly what happened. There are a lot of names in this one.
John Curtis is missing the whole front end of his car, I see.
Oh, it looks like it may have been a contact between Don and I believe that is Shane Cochran up there. Oh, Don and Shane Cochran get caught by the old net code bug there. Had a little bit of space, may have hit each other otherwise, but wow, that sent them around very hard.
Don up into the wall. Quite a lot of guys taking damage from that. I noticed Logan Ikra is also missing the front end of his car. So one thing you get whenever you get these high speeds at the tracks like this, it's a long track, you carry a lot of speed. As soon as you hit one of these walls, you're really taking a beating for it.
Absolutely. Looks like a lot of the top guys opting to come in here.
Yeah, like we said, fresh tires are the name of the game, and if a lot of these guys are starting to come in, you definitely want to come in with them to ensure that you can stay competitive here. Ooh, 4 wide coming off a pit road there. Looks like Gavin Rodgers ekes out ahead. The track is a little bit wider, pit lane's a little bit wider, but that's still a little bit scary if you're trying to exit pit lane side by side by side by side.
Absolutely. And that pit exit is so narrow coming out of there. There's really no room to maneuver once you get out of the exit of the pit area.
Yeah, you really, somebody's got to lift, and if you're a fan of the game Chicken, you may end up put into the wall or getting a black flag by being forced up onto the track. So looking here, it looks like Ian Nelson makes his way back up to the front. It's a very good run for him. He's put in a lot of laps at super speedways. Oh, and he may be coming in. Yeah, I believe he is coming into his pit box. So a lot of guys seeming like they have a little bit of an issue finding their pit stall under a caution. And just as we say that, the original one that we saw kind of accidentally roll slowly through the pit lane, ended up in front. Jacob Hoppy has made his way back up to P1 here.
Good to see him running out front here. Starting out 14th today and now up in first place.
Yeah, he's on a little bit of a longer stint than what these guys are. Him and Ray Zirkett decided not to come through and take their 9-lap old tires all the way up to the front of this field. So as long as they can keep their speed up fairly high and kind of make the guys burn it up by trying to take it on the bottom or running some weird lane switchbacks and stuff of that sort, they may be able to hold on to P1 and 2. I mean, we're going to have 7 laps to go whenever we come across for the green flag. It'll be interesting to see how the tire difference affects them.
Definitely. Zirkett starting out in 25th, now running P2, so I don't want to jinx him again, but good to see him up front here.
Yeah, I'm knocking on wood for you.
Pace car is off. Get ready to go back to green here.
Green flag, green flag.
And the green drops.
And you can definitely see the difference in tires there as you see Piedra and Chris Stitz kind of get stacked up. Gavin Rodgers going to look to the bottom, cutting the apron there, see if they give him the courtesy of letting him back up. At 4 wide into turn 1, that's a scary position to be in.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be behind those guys seeing that.
Gavin Rodgers back out in front, and here comes John Hammond. What a move, making 2 passes at once, cutting down to the bottom, getting back up in here with the draft.
Looks like we're running 4 wide back there. This guy's still sticking it, really trying to move wherever they can to try and get as many positions as they can here before the end of the stage.
Oh, what a big push from Piedra onto the back of John Hammond to push him right out in front. These guys are all over this track trying to break the draft, block, make sure that they stay out in front, pushing each other real hard into the corner, using the high side, the low side. It's just a complete wash of a race. These guys are all over the place.
It is an absolute dogfight right now, and a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, this is the closest I think we've seen a pack of cars run all season long here, side by side, pretty much through every corner.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Oh, and a caution is out. Comes out a little bit early. We're going to have just a short sprint to get to the end here of this stage. Not going to be the end of the stage quite yet.
Looks like Jason Waller was involved there. Looks like he's going to come into the back of the number 83. Might have bounced off the wall just a little bit there.
Yeah, Jared Sherlin getting a run of bad luck here. Oh, also Brady Shue is involved in it. So it looks like Waller looked to the high side or maybe thought he had a run and then, oh, got a little bit too close to the wall, maybe a little bit nervous, ended up right into the back of Jared Sherlin, and around they go. Head-to-head contact just about for the 9 of Brady Shue and for the 83 of Jared Sherlin. You see Waller is now missing that hood, so not very good things happening for any of these guys back here in the back right now. Any sort of aero damage is going to be pretty detrimental.
And that's one of the things we were talking about is how big this track is, but when you're running this fast and this close, like we were talking about how these guys are running, any little mistake that you make is more than likely going to cost you big.
Yeah, good practice race for these guys, like we said before, for Talladega coming up in a little bit. So you can tell they're putting on a show and they're trying to figure it out just as best as they can. I believe, if I can count correctly, I think we're going to have a one-lap shootout for the end of the stage.
That's what it's looking like.
Jonathan Hammond does get pushed by Piedra to the front, and behind him's a guy who's had a little bit of a run of bad luck, Steve Korsek, making his way all the way up to third. Up 33 positions, started at the very back of the grid today.
Always good to see him up there running in front. Again, another one of the good drivers. All these guys in this league are really good. Running with these guys has been a lot of fun this season. But few guys usually stand out, and Steve's definitely one of those guys. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he tends to be a little bit busy after he had that really, really bad luck with an early season catastrophic wheel failure, missing a couple of races. After dominating the first time we went to Las Vegas, ended up slipping away right out of his hands near the end in that race. And then after that wheel incident for him, he's just not really been able to put it together a good run through any of the races so far. But being up in that third position is showing you just what he can do.
A little bit of heated conversation going on in the race chat right now. Guys getting frustrated with each other, so see how that plays out later on in the race here.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see. It's going to be pretty chaotic restart here. I believe this is going to be our first one-lap shootout to the end of the stage that we've had in Full Pedal Jacket so far, so a little bit of a first-time experience coming a little bit late into the season, but we'll see how these guys navigate through this kind of funky deal we have going on here. Not sure where I was going with funky. Funky Ben Askren. That's what they call me.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see and see how these guys do it. And I do believe you were correct. I can't remember a instance where we had a one-lap shootout and to the end of the stage. So definitely be interesting to see what kind of strategy they have here for this one-lap run on their green.
Yeah, I say if you got any tire left and you want a stage win, you're going to be burning it up on the bottom and trying to get as good of a run as you can off the corner. Kind of see a little bit of what they do whenever it comes to super speedways, Daytona and Talladega. Use the draft to your advantage, stick behind the guy in first and try to get a good run on him.
Yeah, the draft racing is really, it's an art form. It's one of those things where if you time it just right, you can definitely pick up a spot or two. If you time it wrong, you can lose a spot or two.
John Hammond going to lead us back for the green flag here.
Green flag, green flag.
Ooh, and Steve looking 3 wide there in the middle. Let's see if he gets a little bit of a pinch there. Does not look like John Hammond wants to cede that position. 4 wide again as Gavin Rodgers riding underneath the yellow. Oh! We'll see if they can hold on to it.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Oh, and caution is out. So unfortunate turn of events there. Guys taking it 4 wide into the corner, racing really hard, and Steve Korsek goes around. We saw it happen there live. And we can go back and take a look at it, but again, another Spectre Stage Award is going to be awarded to the semi-8 of Adrian Piedra. Made it through there nice and clean.
Looked like that might have been a little bit of net code there. 41 and the 21 of Steve Korsek got into the 92 John Hammond, but then the 41 got caught up in it too, but it looked like he had some space there.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for those guys. So we'll see how it stacks up whenever it comes to the yellow here. We'll call it unofficial for now, as we're going to have to go back and see exactly at the time of caution where everyone was. But as for now, we do know Adrian Piedra, your Spectre Stage Award winner. Gavin Rodgers finishing up 2nd, Colin Bauer in 3rd, John Hammond in 4th, still holds on to a top 5 there. Alex Coffey in 5th. He's been pretty consistent. He's sitting right around there. Mason Hausman up a couple spots. He's making his way through the field in 6th. Matt Fleming in 7th, Logan Eker in 8th. Steve Korsek falls back to 9th as far as the ruling is right now, and Don Milkowicz's in 10th.
Yeah, Alex Coffey stayed up there in that top 5 pretty much all night. It'd be interesting to see if he's kind of just biding his time, waiting to kind of push to the front here towards the end of the race. But definitely a guy that can do it.
If I'm seeing this correctly, it looks like Marcus Miller has opted to stay out and regain the lead of this race. So he's definitely wanting to get up there and get his airtime. He's rightfully seated back where he started in P1. Unfortunately, I believe Jason Waller might have also stayed out trying to get a free wave around, so he's going to have to drop to the back. Marcus was the only car to stay out after that caution. We're going to see a couple guys here drop back. Looks like TJ Roberts, Cody Griffith, and Derek Preston all were cars who tried to get that free wave around, had their day spoiled by Marcus getting back up to that P1 spot.
And that goes back into the strategy again. It's one of those things where if you're lap down, you're trying to do whatever you can to get that lap back, get you back on the lead lap, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of a bad spot to be in. I know I've been there personally many times before, thinking, oh yeah, I could just stay out, everyone's going to pit obviously, and then have someone stay out, and it's just very depressing to have to drop back through the field and watch all the guys pass you by. You know, you got to find a way to get back up there somehow to get your lap back.
Looks like we just lost Paul Ferdiani.
Yeah, I do see here now, I unfortunately missed it. I was informed by Paul in the chat that his iRacing does keep crashing, so a little bit of the same issue I'm having here, I believe. It's unfortunate for him. He was running really well. Him and John Hammond were really fighting up there for that top 5 spot.
Yeah.
We hate to see that for Paul. I personally hate to see it for Paul as a member of CMM. I definitely want to see him do well. It's my team, CM Motorsports. Him and John Hammond are the guys that I always root for
week in and week out.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate. I know we've had some issues with that here as of late within the last month or so. Matthew Fleming being one of them that's had issues with Iracing crashing. So it's just one of those things where it's really, you hate to see it, especially when guys are running well and running up towards the front, and then something like that happens and it's out of your control.
Yeah, that's just what comes down to one of those things that we hate to see, but I would fix it if I personally could. We've suffered from it here on the broadcast as well.
Going back to green here for the final stage of 60 laps. 57 laps to the end of the race here. So see how these guys are going to run this final stage here. We talked about pit strategy before and not being able to go a full 30 lap stage. Now they got 60 laps to go. So probably going to be at least 2 pit stops. Again, that depends on cautions, but see how these guys use strategy here to get themselves up to the front.
Here comes Mason Hausman charging up through the field there. He's really wanting to go here. Might have been playing it a little bit safe and running it less aggressive like we were talking about in the beginning, but he's up here getting ready to start competing for this lead.
It's always good to get a stage win, but at the end of the day, you want that the overall win. So a lot of guys, especially since we went down to one quick repair, trying to bide their time, stay out of stuff, and that way you have, like we said, had a fresh car for here for this final stage.
Yeah, you definitely have seen a lot of guys, once we switched, even in that Watkins Glen race, he opted to kind of sit through the first 2 stages with damage, take tires and fuel, and get geared up for the final stage, see what they could go out and do once they got a fresh car, as long as they didn't go multiple laps down.
Going 3 wide here in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Piedra is doing a lot of work on that bottom line. Oh, a little bit of contact between Coffee and Steve Korsek, and Mason Hausman gets caught up in it as well. Unfortunate for the points leader there. We'll see exactly what happened there. I know I did see a little bit of contact between Coffee and Steve Korsek. Oh, and a parking lot on the field. It looks like, let's see, Jason Waller, Cody Griffith, Tyler Bentley involved in it as well. Nathan Bentley and Ron Holmes, those Bentley Motorsport guys. We were just talking about how good they were running not too long ago. They're both caught up in it.
That is unfortunate to see. Yeah, it looks like Alex Coffey running the outside there got a little loose and came down into
Steve Korsek. Yeah. Oh wow, big hit for Ron Holmes, pretty much straight on into the wall there. A lot of guys either going to be with blown engines or missing front ends after that one. Ian Nelson decides to cut the grass a little bit in order to make it through, and fortunately for Steve, it doesn't look like he's got too much damage on that car.
Yeah, he might be okay here, just taking a little bit of repairs and keeping it out here on the lead lap, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of nose damage there, as you see, but I'd rather have damage to the hood that someone can go out there and beat it down with a sledgehammer as opposed to not having a front end like we saw a couple of guys suffer with throughout this race first off, and in that caution alone I did see like 5 or 6 guys who had that same issue.
And like we said, with the nature of this track, aerodynamics come into play quite a bit, especially when you're in the draft and stuff, as far as keeping your speed. So guys wanting to keep their cars fixed up as possible without going laps down.
Let's see a little bit of a race off pit road. Oh, somebody's getting a little bit loose on there. He'll wait for it to pass by and see what it is. Marcus Miller's consistently been making up spots by using his pit box there. Having that first spot definitely does assist in doing that. And I believe it was Clayton Fry we saw maybe heating up the tires on pit lane.
Yeah, I know that's one of the that is one of the things that you see is where your pit box is definitely matters as far as making up spots off pit road, and it's another benefit to qualifying high and qualifying is getting those pit stalls closer to pit exit.
And we did just see Jared Sherlin get involved in a crash earlier, but he has made his way back up here, and DJ Thomas back up to third, right where he qualified at. So I know he's wanting to stick up here and win this race. He's always wanting to win at his home track of Michigan.
Yeah, definitely. That's always a prideful moment when you can win at your home track. I know I talked about it when we were at Indy, wanting to win that track, so didn't quite work out for me, but had a lot of fun racing anyway.
Are you trying to say that DJ's going to suffer the same fate as old Clint?
I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to jinx anybody, but just don't hold your breath. That's all I can say.
So these guys are going to get stacked up. The lights are off on the pace car. Going to go too wide here and get ready to come around for some more green flag action. Didn't get too far into that one, but a lot cleaner of a race here than what we saw go on in Chicagoland. These guys are getting a lot of green flag runs, and it being a 2-mile track, it's going to get to the point now to where you're going to see the endurance start kicking in for these guys. If we can get another long green flag run, do you have the focus and do you have the discipline to run your same line over and over and over and over and over again, like the Energizer Bunny, you know?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely partially physical, but a lot of this sport is mental. You know, just being able to consistently run the same line and pay attention to what's going on around you at the same time. It's definitely tiring at the end of the race. You're like, oh, thank God that's over.
A little bit of a bad restart there for Jared Sherlin. You see Gavin Rodgers right on his back bumper trying to give him a big shove down into turn 1 and 2. DJ Thomas can go high, but Piedra definitely has the advantage on the same tires running the bottom whenever it comes to overall speed, as long as he's not lifting down there.
Looks like DJ is going to try and make a move to the inside here, going to get it going into turn 3. Leaving Piedra out there high. Again, with these fresh tires, you're going to see that inside line running a little bit faster. But again, as the green flag runs go on, it's going to be less and less of an advantage.
Ooh, and Piedra maybe trying to use the draft as much as he can on DJ Thomas there. Inch up slowly closer to him. Might be looking to make him a little bit aero tight. You did notice that DJ's running a little bit higher than the very, very bottom of the track. I'm not sure if that's to block him, take the air off the nose of Piedra, or if he's just trying to conserve his tires here.
Yeah, definitely. If you can get in behind somebody like that and get their car a little tight and make them lose a little speed coming off the exit, that gives you that much more of an advantage to be able to get a run on them going in the straightaways. A little bit of contact there between Piedra and Jared Sherlin, trying to maybe give him a little push.
Yellow flag is out.
Oh,
Got a yellow flag.
We'll go here and see exactly what caused it. I see Logan Ikra and Mason Hausman involved in it, as well as Ron Holmes and Nathan Bentley and Tyler Bentley again. Wow, that's a... Oh, I apologize, actually. I was reading the wrong one. I was like, well, that's back-to-back caution these guys were involved in. I do see Jason Waller and Jacob Hoppy in this one, though. Not entirely sure what happened to cause that caution to come out.
Looks like...
And there it is. Cody Griffith getting a little bit of a push by Jacob Hoppy into the corner, going around sideways there might have caused it to come out. iRacing is kind of 50-50 whenever you get to that point. If a car is exceeded 45-degree angle on the track, just kind of comes down to the luck of the draw of whether or not it'll put the caution out or let the guys keep racing.
Yeah.
We'll see Adrian Piedra get his nose out ahead of DJ Thomas. They're able to keep that P1 spot for this restart. And, Ray Zirkett, Jared Sherlin, Colin Bauer, all 3 cars behind them with great runs today, 22, 29, and 32 spots. We'll see how much they either gain or lose by coming down pit lane here behind the leaders. I know everyone will lose at least one spot. It looks like Matthew Fleming has opted to stay out onto the track.
Actually, we got Matthew Fleming, Brad Allison, he's 2 laps down.
Looks like Shane Cochran also opted to stay out, and I believe maybe John Hammond, he might have just not crossed the line. Yeah, I see him back there as well, so looks like everyone in the top 4, close to the top 5, has opted to stay out here. Matthew Fleming being in first, Shane Cochran in second, John Hammond in third, and Chris Stitz maybe wanting to make up a little bit of lost track position coming out there in fourth. So behind them you see a lot of these guys who are unfortunately a lap down, pretty much getting stuck in the same position we saw happen last time we had one of these come around. And a lot of these guys trying to get their laps back, and then different pit strategies mean that you kind of get left hanging out to dry if the guys that are up front don't decide to come in. Matthew getting a chance to lead again for one of the couple times we've seen him up here in P1 throughout the races on full pedal jacket. He's been a guy that suffered some connection issues early, went on to suffer a little bit of getting caught up in other people's crashes around the middle of the season, and showing us here that he's still got that speed. It's just if he can get a chance to fully unlock it. We'll see on 6-lap old tires, you're pretty much hitting the mark if you've been running full throttle on what you can do around this track. Stacking up a lot of guys who are fast in behind him. It'll be interesting to see how this restart goes. If maybe the guys who are in behind Fleming can kind of make it more difficult for guys to get around.
Yeah, definitely. Like we said, Matt being my teammate, he don't have me out there to help push him to the front, you know. Not that I would be out in front, but, you know.
Oh, come on, Clint. You know better than that. You'd be right there behind him, sitting in P3.
That's probably what would happen. That's probably what would happen.
Go out there and give him the risky business, maybe a little bit of moving chicane style there, swerving back and forth, let Matthew get a good run.
Yeah, I've been called a weapon a couple different times in this league, so wouldn't be afraid to go out there and do it again.
Hey, if the shoe fits, right?
Exactly, I'll take it. At least I get one title for the season, right?
Yeah, it's better than some of the names we have for some of these guys out here. We got the Children of the Corn. A couple of other little fun nicknames we give each other as we move further into the season. Guys have earned their nicknames and titles.
Yeah, it's definitely a good group of guys racing in this league, so we all like to have fun and joke around and go out there and put it all on the track on race day, but definitely gained some friendships for sure over this season, so definitely glad to be a part of this league.
We're glad to have you and all of the rest of our drivers who are out there on the track giving it work. That was a great restart by Matthew Fleming and John Hammond. They linked up nose to tail. DJ Thomas into the wall hard, causing a big pile up. Wow, maybe got a little bit of sideways and into the side of, I believe that was Clayton Fry. We'll go back and see exactly what happened here. Maybe get a little bit of a different angle. He was kind of hidden behind Shane Cochran there.
Looks like he just couldn't hold on to it there coming out of 2 and bounced it off the wall.
We'll go in and chase the car on the exit in a little bit of slow motion here. Does look like maybe he gets into the back of Shane Cochran, and it ends up sending him sliding up the track, hitting the wall, coming down into Colin Bauer, and then Chris Stitz decides, you know, if he's going to wreck right in front of me, I can't have any other option besides run right through him, and sends him right around again. Clayton does end up involved in it, as well as Steve Korsek again. Looks like Don Milkowicz gets driven right through it by the 99. Ooh, Ron Holmes again gets completely stuck, and I think TJ Roberts is pulling another one of his magic tricks there, maybe imitating the great Derek Preston first lap bandit, because he just drove through 5 cars like they weren't even there.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about earlier, you know, trying to get through stuff like that sometimes is nerve-wracking, but sometimes that's the best way to do, is just to try and drive through it, and it works out, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, netcode giveth and netcode taketh away, and right there, looks like TJ Roberts gets a little bit lucky, but we've seen him suffer on the other end of that many times before, so maybe he was due for a little bit of a break for once.
The iRacing gods have smiled upon him today.
Very interesting race that we've had so far. It's went by pretty quickly, I believe. We're looking at lap 77, not too much farther to go in this one. A lot of green flag laps, a lot of hard racing, a lot of back and forth between some of these drivers, and again, we have pretty much completely different top 5 coming again to a restart, so.
Yeah, Pedro's one we've seen up here, and you know, Zerkit was up here and then got involved in one of the incidents and back up here again, so good to see that.
Yeah, Hammond missing a rear end, somehow managing to keep pace and stay up here. It's very interesting to see that, but maybe a little bit of these timely cautions have helped some of these guys. There's definitely a lot less on you pit strategy wise whenever you get around to this mid run in these stages and get a caution. You don't have to worry as much about maybe losing positions to pit stops and stuff like that, but Matthew Fleming has got to be wanting to get this one over and done with here. He's coming up, should be getting pretty close to his pit window.
Yeah, with him opting to stay out, and again, it's one of those strategy things. With him opting to stay out, he's going to have to come in pretty soon, I believe.
Yeah, he is only running on 11 laps, but whenever you're getting out there, and especially like we said, running under these caution laps, it will eat away at the tires. So pretty much everybody behind him in the top 10 is on either 5-lap old tires, which puts him at half the distance as what he's ran, or fighting around that 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th spot, are all guys who have just came in and pit. So a lot of different tire strategies and pit strategies out here. We'll see which one ends up being the best at the end.
A lot of different strategies, a lot of different teams out here. I know one of the things we mentioned about teams earlier, you know, a lot of these guys that are running together, I know the Bentley Motorsports are pretty good about kind of sticking together as far as strategies and pitting and stuff, so definitely be interesting to see how all this plays out.
And the pace car is pulling off there, and you see Ray Zerkit and maybe some of these other guys giving these guys on older tires a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be involved in the next caution, and definitely don't want to cause the next caution. So playing it a little bit safe and just trying to get around some green flags here. Got the fresher tires, so you can definitely go faster, but don't want to get into any incidents in the meantime.
Yeah, I really don't want to jeopardize your race in order to make a pass with
Almost 50 laps to go in this one.
Yeah, so a lot of racing left to do.
40 laps to go on, probably.
Matt falling off there a little bit.
Yeah, you see him and Fleming kind of dropping back there. Even though it's 5 laps difference on tires, it can mean a lot whenever it comes to this longer run speed. And we'll see as more of the guys who are in the very back come through, who took their tires on that last caution, are going to start making moves as well. Now, though, we got Adrian Piedra coming back out in front. He seems to keep finding his way back up there regardless of what pit strategy he goes. He comes in, off cycle with some of the guys. He ends up back up in front. He stays out. He's still back up there in front. And he's running the high side, running the low side. He's really showing some effort here, fighting off all these guys and managing to come back up to P1 over and over again.
Gavin Rodgers, another one back up there running third right now. He keeps finding his way up to the front top 5 here, so definitely 2 guys to be watching for at the end of this race. We'll see if they can hold on to this speed and strategy that they have going.
You know, I will tell you, it looks like the 7 car is something that you want to have here at Michigan. We again have the 78, the 17, the 77, and the 117, all within the top 5.
One of those weird things to watch out for sometimes.
Call me superstitious, but I might be taking the 07 if I was running at Michigan sometime soon.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. It might be my new strategy for running here.
Ooh, Mason Husband blinks out a little bit there, the child of the corn. Mason running that new paint scheme there, so a little bit of color finally on that car. We've seen him run that solid black car here fairly often, and also switching over to the Chevy, joining his teammates at South Beach Motorsports.
Yeah, seeing that black car on the track was always
terrifying, I'm sure.
Always kind of scary. So now the new paint scheme here looks really good, and I know we talked about this in qualifying a little bit. A lot of guys are running that blue, purple, and black paint scheme now, so
yeah, it's starting to really catch on, but I mean, those are some nice looking colors, if I do say so myself. I may or may not have made the majority of those paint schemes, but I'm liking seeing them out here on the track.
definitely good looking cars, good looking paint jobs.
Matthew Fleming's doing really well here on these older tires. We've probably hit the point now as everyone kind of rounds off into the 10s on their tires to where the difference is not very great. You're not going full throttle anymore, so it's mainly about getting to your zone to where you want to lift off the gas, using the draft to your advantage, and picking the line that's going to give you overall long run speed as opposed to making some moves early on.
Yeah, definitely. And as we mentioned before, you see these guys running a little bit higher up the track, not really going down to that yellow line like they do on fresh tires. And you'll start to see that more and more. Just trying to keep as much speed as they can. It's just not as fast down there on the bottom when you're on older tires.
And like I was saying before, we'll see a lot of these guys start to fan out and pick different lanes as we get into a longer run. I believe that's Colin Bauer splitting the gap 3 wide there to get back up into this top 5 position.
Korsek making some moves here too to get back up here, trying to get up to the top 5 here.
Yeah, those two have worked together before, so definitely have a little bit of chemistry. And if I'm going to be on a track like this where I know I can use the draft, I would want to work with somebody that I'm a little bit more familiar with.
Oh, definitely. Again, like I said, the drafting and the bump drafting it's an art form, and if you have somebody that you've worked with before and know how they know how they run it, definitely makes it a lot easier and a lot less stressful.
As we get these guys coming in here through turns 3 and 4, we'll hop on board and see exactly how Adrian Piedra is being so successful on these long runs. Lifting just a little bit, getting off the gas enough to apex that corner, not get all the way down to the bottom, but get down to that first seam. Like we said, the rubber gets put down there at the yellow line, and you really don't want to be on older tires trying to run it. Big lift through 3 and 4 as well. That portion of the track is a lot more difficult to get right than what it is 1 and 2.
Yeah. Turn 4 coming off there definitely flattens out quite a bit, so you definitely have to watch your throttle control coming through there, because it gets flat and it's easy to spin coming off turn 4.
Now we did see as Piedra was going around there on the in-car camera, I believe it was TJ Roberts coming out of the pits, so might be seeing some guys trying to mix up a little bit of pit strategy and take some early pit stops coming up here soon.
Yeah, it's going to be getting real close to getting to that pit window, so if you come in early, possibly get a chance to gain a couple spots here. The gamble with that is if there's a caution, then you just you lost those spots.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck in on a situation like that. I believe Marcus Miller, P19, has decided to come into the pit, so depending on how hard these guys are running these cars, I would not be surprised to maybe not yet, unless you're a guy who stayed out and is running a little bit of a longer stint, but probably somewhere looking between the next 8 to 15 laps, a big group of guys going to start coming in and hoping either to be able to get a repeat caution for fresh tires or go green the rest of the way and maybe earn some spots, just having a little bit of an earlier pit strategy and making them up as guys come into pit after you do.
Yeah, and you definitely start to see the tire wear here play on the lap times. The field definitely starting to spread out now. As different people have been running different lines, you have different tire wear, so some guys a little bit faster, some guys a little bit slower, and you're definitely starting to see that play out right here.
Adrian Piedra showing us the same thing that he did at Charlotte, where he gets into these long runs, and on the older tires at a track like this, he can just kind of set sail and keep the pace up.
Yeah, running that a little bit more of a conservative line there, still getting down kind of low, but making it work, making it stick, and keeping the speed there. While still conserving tires as much as possible there to keep them up front.
Yeah, I did notice early on, I do believe he is still running up there with a little bit of nose damage as well. I'm not sure exactly where he got it, but I was checking around lap 60. It looked like he had maybe gotten into the back of somebody or might have scraped the wall a little bit by driving it a little bit too hard out of the corner, but it's definitely not affecting him here as much as what you would think, which is pretty much what we would expect to see on these older tires, where it gets into, like we said, braking or letting off the throttle, letting the car roll through the corner and getting back on it as early as possible to gain as much speed as you can down the front and back stretch.
Yeah, definitely, and like we said, with it being as fast as it is, the aero really comes into play quite a bit, and so really good to see. It does look like he has a little bit of right front damage, but doesn't seem to be affecting him at all. He's definitely out there running really fast.
So we'll take a look here at our pit strategy and see just how long these guys up here at the front have been going. So Adrian Piedra coming around to lap 23, as well as Mason Hausman.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Oh, and just as I say that, a yellow flag comes out. I believe it is for Alex Coffey. I see him having a little bit of a crash here, and we'll see exactly what happened. Oh, we'll have to go back here and take a look at that one. I'm not sure if maybe Coffey came down or if Jared Sherlin came up or if they met in the middle.
It kind of looks like they met in the middle there a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it might have been a little bit of meeting in the middle and a little bit of net code there. It's really dangerous, especially with the amount of internet issues that we've had today for the server that we are running on. I know we've had a couple of guys disconnect, and I was having issues early on.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just have to kind of deal with when you're running iRacing is all kinds of factors play into your internet, the server's internet. I know a few weeks ago, iRacing had issues with their actual server on the East Coast. I believe it was the East Coast server that was having issues with their internet. So,
yeah, and it's unfortunate to see after going back and looking at it. It definitely was an issue whenever it came to netcode, so we'll see exactly how many guys come in here and pit. I know Piedra is probably happy about that. He was probably looking at going in for a green flag pit stop. Now he gets to go in on equal footing with everybody else, and he's shown he can keep up on the long runs. If they go green all the way to the end, he knows he's got the fuel to do it, and he knows he's got the car to do it, and he knows he's the driver that could do it. So it'll be interesting to see how well he can hold off this group of guys behind him. Going to be running on the same tires for the rest of this race.
yeah, they barring any cautions, it should be green flag for the rest of the race here. Not having to take any pit stops, so.
Yeah, we saw before, whenever we come around and go green, there's going to be 23 laps left in this race, I believe, if I am correct. So with that being said, Piedra was pulling away from Mason there. Right at the end, you saw him extend the gap all the way up to 0.7 of a second, and that was on a 24-lap run. So if he can repeat his performance, he's going to be starting out in front with some fresh air, so it's very possible to see him kind of pull away with this one like we know he can, and he has shown us that he is capable of doing time in and time out whenever we get to these kind of 1.5-mile, 2-mile tracks.
Yeah, definitely a fast driver and talented driver for sure. I know he can do it. Let's just see if he can implement it, or if Mason here has something to say about it.
And he's got a very scary looking 117 car in behind him. That paint scheme is actually pretty cool. I'm really getting a chance to kind of look at it since he's been riding around up here, but the curse of the sevens, or the blessing of the sevens, continues. So you have the 78, the 17, the 27, the 117, and the 77 all up in the front again. I'm starting to think if you took a car that had anything other than a 7 in it, you're just not allowed to win this race.
Yeah, the only car, looks like there's one car still out there that with the 7 that's not in the top 10, and that's the 777 of Alex Coffey.
Yeah, we saw Alex get involved in a couple of early wrecks there after getting a really good run. I thought we would maybe see that Runts Racing team run up front. I know they've been
practicing a lot, but that's unfortunate to see him get kind of wrecked out and put back to the back.
Green, green, green.
Yeah, definitely. Back to green flag racing. We will have 21 laps to go, looks like, till the end of the race here.
And
117 moving up here on the inside.
Gavin Rodgers with a hard move to the outside, forcing Steve to maybe cut down low and go for a little bit of a switchback. Again, you see the 14 and the 27 kind of riding around right next to each other, following 1 and 2.
Yeah, and again, I know we're getting close to the end of the race here, but still 20 laps to go. Just got to try and kind of be patient and make your move when you can. With as fast as Piedra is, though, you don't want to wait too long.
Yeah, you definitely want to get out in front of him and make sure that he cannot run a line that is beneficial to himself and to his tires. But 117 is kind of left out on an island here, running down at the bottom. You can't go up the track to save any tire. You can't hit the bottom as well as what you used to full throttle because of the rubber that's been put down. So you're kind of just treading water, watching the guy side draft you go right on by on the high side.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, like we said before, is just kind of getting in, working with people, and he just has nobody to work with right now.
And a little bit of a blink from both Piedra and Mason Hausman there, so the internet issues are just so prevalent through this race. Sorry.
Oh, and a big wreck in the back of the field there.
I see Jared Sherlin, and we'll hop back here real quick while it's still kind of happening and see exactly what happens there. Jared Sherlin looks like maybe gets into, oh my, and Derek Preston flipping halfway down the backstretch. Well, that's something he is definitely accustomed to. You see it in the intro whenever you play it. Derek likes riding up along that fence sometimes, but unfortunate for him, he gets kind of caught and put up into the wall and goes around for a little bit of a ride there.
Yeah, definitely, I don't know, one of his favorite places, but definitely a place that he is no stranger to. See if anybody opts to take any kind of pit stops here to get maybe some fresher tires and try and get some speed. Does look like a few opted to come in. Like Tyler Bentley came in.
And here goes Zach Camilla around the outside, getting his lucky dog away.
That's unfortunate. Oh, there we go. Definitely been fun. Not great at it yet, but hopefully as the weeks go on, get a little bit better here for you guys.
Yeah, unsure of what's happening. I hear that there's a lot of stuff going on in the race chat. We'll have to see exactly what was going on during the break.
Get ready to come around one more time. Going green this lap as they head into 1 and 2. I know I saw, I believe Tyler Bentley and Shane Cochran both came into the pits for tires.
Yep, and here we go again with these guys restarting. You know, there is just something going on today. We got 17 laps to go. All these guys with 7s are up here in the front. If we go green all the way to the end, then I'm going to go out and start bidding for 7s in the lottery, I think.
Yep, just any number that's got a 7, put it down on the ticket, and hopefully you can win that jackpot there. Top 5 right now, all with 7s in the number.
And I think the only thing that could have made this race any more odd whenever it comes to that is if we were running it yesterday on the 27th.
Green, green, green.
And green flag is out. They're back to green flag racing.
And here they go again. Around and around and around they go. 17 laps, well 16 laps now. Until the end of this race, a lot of these guys up here, it looks like we have repeat winners galore. Adrian Piedra, Mason Hausman, Gavin Rodgers all up there. Steve Korsek looking for his first win. Colin Bauer as well looking for himself a repeat win after winning our Daytona race. So it's a very interesting group of cars that we have.
Yeah, it's definitely been a really good race and a lot of interesting stuff happening. Just the lead changes and position changes. We've seen people go from 33rd to 2nd, and so many different lead changes. It's kind of unusual, but a lot of fun to watch. Guys still running 2 wide back here. Piedra making his way back out front with the help there of Mason. Ooh, we got one into the wall. Looks like he's going to save it. Maybe.
I believe it was Ian Nelson who maybe clipped it a little bit there, but that's not going to be a caution for him, so hopefully he can keep it rolling here and keep things going well. I see somebody pulling a hard left off the track there. I'm not sure if that's due to an issue. I see Ray Zirkett is down onto the bottom. We'll find out exactly what happened there with him. We saw him pull off onto the bottom of the track and come to a stop. I don't know if maybe he's having some internet issues. Maybe he's having stuff. Yeah, he does go into the pit, so kind of an odd thing to have happen for him, but wondering if maybe it's an issue where it comes to him not having enough time, and it is his first race with us, so maybe wasn't prepared to go the distance, or might have been having another catastrophic wheel failure that we've seen happen before with Steve Korsek.
Looks like we got a lot of cars coming in here. See if anybody opts to stay out. Looks like everybody on the lead lap decided to come in and get some fresh tires here for the last, it'll probably be 8 laps. Going to be a battle to get off pit road here first. Does look like Piedra got off first, so he will hold his lead. The official scoring here once they cross the line again. You're good. $11 laps to go here in the race. So it looks like we'll have 10 to go at the restart. Top 5 right now is Adrian Piedra, Mason Hausman, Gavin Rodgers, John Curtis, and Jonathan Hammond now up here in the front. Starting out in 12th tonight, made his way up to 5th. Really interesting right now that the top 5, none of which started out in the top 5, so...
Yeah, a lot of guys here making their way through the field, slicing in, dicing. Started in the back. Biggest mover so far is definitely got to be Colin Bauer, up 32 spots from where he started. So very interesting to see these guys really making a big run here and a good late push. A couple of these up here around the front have been hanging right up there with everyone else the whole time. We see John Hammond back up there. Gavin Rodgers, Adrian Piedra, Mason Hausman somehow found his way back up through the field, maybe looking to go on to be our first back-to-back winner as well as being our first 3-time winner of the season. And then John Curtis, that new paint scheme is definitely doing him justice. He's managed to keep up here in, around the top 10 the whole race.
Green, green, green.
Back to green flag racing. Pretty even restart. Piedra putting a block down there on Gavin Rodgers, trying to keep him from going around. Gavin Rodgers has been pretty quick. Looks like he's one of the guys that could possibly give Piedra a run for his money here, and Piedra not having any of it. Colin Bauer going 3 wide, trying to push his way up here to the top. Giving Mason a little bump. Going to see these guys get a little bit more aggressive here now that we only got 9 to go. And there we go. 777 Alex Coffey goes around.
Oh, an unfortunate turn of events for him. Made his way all the way back up to the front in order to get put around there.
Looks like the number 4 just got a little loose there in the rear end and came right down on him. Cody Harrelson came down. Matthew Fleming involved in that one. Looks like maybe Korsek might have got tapped there a little bit.
We'll go back and take a little bit of a closer look at that wreck. Yeah, you see there is 777 and the 27 have a little bit of contact there. Looks like the 27 made it out pretty decently. Oh, and it looks like maybe it was Cody Harrelson, I believe, got into the back of the 777 and got him around there loose. Maybe a push gone wrong. It is very hard to push these cars whenever you're sitting down on that left rear quarter panel or on the left rear of the bumper, and that's exactly where Cody looks like he caught Alex. So we'll rack them up with 8 to go. A couple of guys having a bad night here. Overall, not exactly what they wanted, but we're seeing a couple of guys also pull through and maybe get some time up at the front that they either aren't accustomed to or they haven't seen in a while. Steve Korsek in 7th position. Wow, the 7s are just, this is unreal. In the number 27 car, John Hammond, the only non-7 that has consistently been up here, I believe. In 6th, he's having a really good run for himself as well. Colin Bauer showing you the exact same speed that he had in the Super Speedway can transfer over here. And then John Curtis mixing it up with these guys that we've seen at the front, showing, you know, how much work he puts in and week out in order to get this done.
Yeah, definitely. We'd mentioned before, these guys put in a lot of work, you know, not just on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but throughout the whole week and the weekend, just putting in lap time and just trying to go out there and race the best that they can. So hats off to these guys. One more to green here.
And again, 7 laps to go. It's 17 the first time and 7 now. You know, at this point, I feel like I should just go ahead and say it's been like this the whole time. Let's see Colin Bauer or John Hammond get up there in the front and win this thing just to break the curse of the 7s, because this has been crazy.
This has been crazy. Colin, definitely a guy that can get it done. We'll see if he can here on the restart. Going to have 6 to go when they cross the start-finish line. Stacked up 2 wide. Getting ready to restart. Waiting for the pace car to dip off here as they come through 3 and 4. Pace car is off.
Green, green, green.
And green flag racing resumes. Piedra, a little bit of a jump there.
And these guys are side by side coming through. Don't get a break in the action until you get back to Steve Korsek. Ooh, a little bit of a pinch there by Piedra, and Colin Bauer forcing it in there. He's going hard in the paint, got his elbows out, sticking it right into the middle. Maybe you heard what I said.
He might have.
Hey, 6 laps to go. This is about what you're expecting to see there. Throws a little bit of a block on Piedra as well.
Definitely trying to stay out front there.
Yeah, and again, Jonathan Hammond making his way up through there. Here comes Zach Canella as well.
Gavin Rodgers pushing up there to the front.
That is 3 South Beach Motorsports cars lined up at the top, so this could be pretty bad if these guys can get linked up coming here to the end. They're definitely going to be willing to push someone across the start-finish line.
Little sideways there.
Yeah, they are pushing hard on that high side. They are 4 deep nose to tail, really running it. And here comes Mason Hausman down to the bottom. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mason start throwing some blocks here as we get closer to the end of this race. And Piedra headed up to the high side as well. It's really turning into a super speedway now. You see these guys really trying to get up, get into the draft, and get going. Working with teammates and leaving the guy who's the odd man out to dry.
Looked like Gavin was going to get a little bit of a run there and ended up not being able to carry that speed out of the corner.
Yeah, that side drafting is very tough to deal with the new aero package. And you can see Collins opting to sit right there on that quarter panel of Gavin Rodgers and not let him gain any speed. You can tell he's drifting down on the straightaways whenever he can't get to the back of Mason's bumper. and slowing him down pretty significantly here.
Mason dropping down, getting that block like we were talking about earlier, just trying to keep out front here.
This is definitely going to be something that we see whenever we start heading into Talladega and the other super speedway races, or these super speedway races. Whenever you get a couple of guys together up at the front who are on a team, they're going to start making moves and being aggressive. Oh, and Zach Mills up into the wall.
Able to hold on to it.
Yeah, definitely holding on to it. Kind of fans out the field there. I'm sure he's not too happy about that, but at the same time, I don't see that being an issue. I'm sure he's glad he didn't cause the caution to kind of restack the field and go for a green-white checkered here. It's going to get really crazy. Cody Harrison gets into Steve Korsek.
As we were just saying, that looked like we were going to make it all the way to the finish there on green, but
yeah, we had about half a track to go before you could pretty much seal the deal for Colin Bauer and Mason Hausman. But that was just, I don't even know. I'm speechless about that run that we saw. That was some high intensity, side by side drag racing back and forth all the way through that little run there that we had.
Yeah, that was definitely a fight there at the front. Looks like Cody Harrelson got a little loose, bounced it off the wall, and came down into Korsek. So I'm sure Steve not happy about that. I'm sure neither one of them are happy about that. But that is how it goes when you get here in this towards the end of the race. So we are going to have a green-white checkered finish here. They do get 2 attempts, I believe, if we don't make it through the first one. Oh, and a couple guys coming down to pit, but
it looks like Colin went for a little bit of a spin there.
It looks like he was faking coming down, tried to get out, but
just couldn't make it in time.
Just could not get back out there.
So with that being said, Adrian Piedra stays out and is going to try to make it work with what he's got. Looking here at 12-lap old tires. It'll be interesting to see. We did see the entirety of the South Beach Motorsports team come into the pit lane, so we'll see what they can do. They were pushing awfully hard, and on fresh tires and having a significant tire difference, we could see these guys start storming up through the field.
Yeah, absolutely. It's does make a big difference, and with these other guys staying out, it could be interesting. Tyler Bentley now up in P3. Starting out 11th tonight.
And Tyler having a good run, and just like that, we've had a 7 up near the front the whole race, and besides John Curtis and Adrian Piedra, they have all kind of left us here.
Maybe it is the curse of the 7s and not the luck of the 7s.
We'll see how Piedra and Curtis do, and see if one of them can eke out a win here. Carry on that repeating number that we had going on all through this race.
Shane Cochran up here now in P4. He started out in 26, so another one of those guys that started out near the back and has worked his way up to the front towards the end of the race, and now he finds himself in position 4 with green-white checker to go for the end of the race. It's almost 11.
unsure if I worked into a different dimension there. For some reason, I had 11:48 showing up on my end here. I was like really worried about the length that this race was going on for a minute.
Sitting out there in Greenland time.
I suppose so. I'm on some sort of time zone. 2 hours of sleep will do that to you, I suppose.
Yes, it'll make the time go by in weird ways, that's for sure.
Tell you what, someone who wants to see these laps go away is going to be Adrian Piedra and John Hammond. We'll see what kind of run they can get here up at the front, and if they can finish up with a win here.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag is out, and what a big jump from these two out here in front. They have pulled a car length and a half on everyone behind them.
Yeah, definitely a good restart for them. Tyler Bentley working his way to catch back up though. And
and Jared Sherlin goes around.
A lot of cars involved in that one. Looks like basically the back half of the field got involved in that.
Yeah, I see Jared Sherlin, Derek Preston, Alex Coffey again, as well as Lucas Sylvester involved in that. So
Looked like Matt Fleming might have got involved in that one also.
oh, yeah, I do see. I think Matt Fleming was the primary initiator of that caution, not necessarily on the fault of his own, but mainly through the fact of getting caught up and having Jared Sherlin go across his nose on a pretty quick little jerky move there.
Not going to mix the field up too much with how far back the incident happened, but we are going to have another green-white checkered attempt here.
Yeah, so a little bit of an odd race that we have going on here.
Yeah, it seems like kind of the opposite of what we've had last few weeks, where normally the first few stages are a lot of cautions and then kind of levels out towards the end. And the beginning of this race was actually a lot of green flag laps, and now here towards the end of the race we're having a lot of cautions. So
we'll see how this thing goes. I believe this is the second of the 3 green-white checkered finishes that we will have a chance at going for. We very well, at this rate, may end up seeing the first time we see a one-lap shootout to the end of the stage, and see the first time that a race will end in under caution.
it has definitely been a weird night tonight, that's for sure.
You know, weird night, weird morning, weird everything. It's just all over the place whenever it comes to what has happened in the league with iRacing over the past couple of months, and just in general whenever it comes to Full Pedal Jacket.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen here at Full Pedal Jacket. Just a quick reminder, truck race Friday night. I believe same time start.
Yep, same time, same place. Only thing that changes is going to be the date, and then we're going to have that 1 week break, give these guys a chance to cool down from this kind of really opposite race from what we have started off having. Normally we get to the 3rd stage and we can kind of finish under green. It seems like in this one we got through the first 2 stages. Now we're having all the cautions.
Lining up double file. So we're going to have one more to green here. I'd like to take this time also, if you are watching on Twitch and you do not have Twitch Prime, if you have Amazon Prime, you can sign up for Twitch Prime. It's absolutely free with your Amazon Prime. You can support your favorite Twitch streamers for absolutely free. It gives you 1 free subscription a month. So if you're not taking advantage of that, make sure you do that.
Yeah, it'll give you access to special emotes down in the channel here on Twitch. Even if you don't want to use it for a Full Pedal Jacket, it still gives you the opportunity to get a couple of free games, some free loot. Like we said last week, got some free stuff out there for Sea of Thieves. It's a game that I've personally been playing something I'm going to put some time in next week and use it as kind of a relaxation week after I get done with my finals that I unfortunately have to do for college.
Yeah, it's really cool that Amazon and Twitch partnered up. I've been doing it for a couple years now, and always use that free sub and give you different loot items and skin items and just free content for video games. So definitely worth taking advantage of if you have Amazon Prime.
Here we go.
Getting ready to go back green.
Green.
Hopefully for the last time here. Pietro with a big jump there.
Yeah, he has really mastered the restart on this track. We saw him struggle with it a little bit early, and here comes Mason Hausman back down to the bottom, forcing it 3 wide. Ooh, putting a squeeze on there. He's really wanting to get up to the front and become a back-to-back winner. Oh, and someone hard into the wall. Let's see if it goes into caution. I do see some guys kind of spun around. They might be able to hold it together, though. The white flag comes out. We're going to race it out to the end. No cautions. Oh, and Pietro and John Hammond get into each other there. Oh, and the yellow comes out right before the white flag. And all of these guys up front get into each other. That is very unfortunate for Adrian Piedra and John Hammond after running up front the whole race pretty much. This is going to give a really good shot to Tyler Bentley, the guy who was previously running the points lead, to maybe get his first win. But that was just absolutely unfortunate coming to the white line. I don't know if maybe Hammond thought that Piedra was going to be lower down on the track, and if Piedra was trying to maintain his speed through that corner, but that was definitely tough to watch for these guys who have put it down all on the line here in this race.
Yeah, for sure. To see those guys run up front most of the night and then have an incident like that happen, it's just it's heartbreaking. But again, that's kind of how tonight's went. Again, you got Tyler Bentley now started out position 11. Now he's running first for what will be the last green-white checkered attempt.
Yeah, and just like that, it looks like Mason Hausman's the only 7 we have left up near the front that has a shot to win this thing, as long as the cars get a green flag run to the end here.
One we've seen started out in position 5, worked his way back up now. Hasn't really been in the top for most of the night, but he finds himself back up here once again.
Yeah, surrounded by former teammates and current teammates alike. He's got a Bentley behind him, a Bentley way up in front of him, and then Mason Hausman is a current teammate, going to be right next to him pretty much, so it'll be interesting to see if these guys maybe opt to work together, or if we're going to see some lone wolf style racing here coming to the end.
I know we were talking earlier, the Bentley Motorsports guys were running up front and then had some unfortunate incidents and put him back towards the back, and now here we see Tyler and Nathan both up front again.
Oh. And I believe I am lost again. Oh, and we're back.
Good to have you back there.
Yeah, I am unsure what is going on tonight. Honestly, I'm just about as tired as what these drivers are going to be after the end of this race. It's very nerve-wracking on them here, but as this is their final green-white checkered, it very well could come down to whoever is out in front at the time of our last caution ends up winning this race.
Getting ready to go back to green here in half a lap. Piedro back up in second, though.
Yeah, he's opting to run it with that damage. I mean, at this point, if you think that if there is any possibility for another caution to happen, I would risk it for the biscuit. Stay out in front and then just take whatever spot you can gain whenever that next yellow flag comes out.
Green flag, green flag.
And the green flag drops for the last time here. Mason trying to make a move on the skirt there. Can't quite get it done.
4 wide back there. Oh my, 5 wide. I don't know how they survived that. I know I would not have been able to. And there goes Gavin Rodgers spinning down onto the apron.
Yellow, yellow.
And I believe that may be the end of this race right there.
I believe so.
As long as I have kept count, that should be the last caution that we have allotted. So for the first time, as we said in Full Pedal Jacket race history, we've had our 1-lap shootout and then our race end under caution, so we can go ahead and chalk up a win for former points leader Tyler Bentley, finally securing his spot into the playoffs. He was really worried coming into this week and to the end of the season that he was not going to be able to get a win, and he might end up being one of the guys that has to finish it out maybe by barely getting in there on points. So he's worked really hard for this, and after putting on a couple of dominating performances before we really started running these things for points, he finally gets that coveted win and secures his spot into the playoffs.
Yeah, congratulations to Tyler Bentley. I know he's ran hard all season so far, and really good to see him get a win and secure a spot there in the playoffs. Like we said, after today, we have 5 races left, so now he will make winner number 8. So there's only 4 more spots left in those playoff spots, so...
Oh, and we are gone again. We won't get to see him cross the start-finish line, I believe. I am completely unsure as to what is going on with iRacing for me, but...
And Zach Camella spins out Tyler Bentley as they come across the start-finish line.
Yeah, so...
A little friendly tap there for him as he's doing his burnout there in the infield.
We will go back through here at the end. I unfortunately missed that and see exactly what happened there. I hope I am still up and going on here. We got Tyler Bentley coming home in P1, Mason Hausman in P2, Zach Camilla in P3, Adrian Piedra 4th, John Kurz 5th, Nathan Bentley 6th, Cody Harrelson 7th, Ian Nelson 8th, Marcus Miller 9th, Colin Bauer 10th, James Kubanek in 11th. Jonathan Hammond secures a 12th position after getting involved into a unfortunate caution there. Cody Griffith in 13th. Matthew Fleming in 14th. Jared Sherlin in 15th. Gavin Rodgers in 16th. Shane Cochran in 17th. Brad Allison in 18th. Derek Preston in 19th, Lucas Sylvester in 20th. 21st goes to Alex Coffey. 22nd goes to Steve Korsek. We thought he was going to have a shot there at the end. Clayton Fry in 23rd, Ray Zirkett in 24th, TJ Roberts 25th. 26th goes to Jacob Hoppy. 27th goes to Chris Stitz. 28th goes to Don Milkowicz. 29th goes to Ron Holmes. 30th, Jason Kelly. 31st, that I believe is Jason Waller. 32nd, Logan Eker. 33rd, Brady Shue. 34th, Paul Ferdiani, who unfortunately had some connection issues, as I am currently having. And 35th goes to Brennan Bogo.
Yeah, good race to those guys. Really good show. It was definitely an interesting race to watch, and even more so to broadcast. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are going to have to skip out on the post-race interviews at this time. We've got something going on here. I'm not entirely sure what the issue I am personally having, but it seems that I am quickly running out of either internet or something similar of the sorts here whenever we get to the end of this race. So no post-race interview tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you maybe a little short stream next week on the off week and get to talk to some of these guys, maybe get an insight into the race in general and how guys are feeling with the season, and if anything, we can pull them in here for the truck series this Friday and get a good little grasp on what happened in this race. So as always, I am joined tonight and possibly for the rest of the season by Sir Clint McGill in the broadcast booth for the Intimidator Cup Series. I am Peyton Jennings, league owner. Supreme Ape, our sponsor. JCB Excavation, as well as now new to the team, Rep Sports. Code FPJ15 at checkout on their website for 15% off. Thank you everybody for coming out, and hopefully this reaches you all well and in good faith. I'm not entirely sure if my internet is holding up through this, but thank you everybody, and have a nice night.